Well, hello everybody, Ozzy here. We are going to be interviewing Steve Reinharz, the CEO of AITX. I got lots of questions. I actually picked the questions from the comment section on the videos. So if there are any questions that you would like me to ask him, definitely leave them in the comment section, and I will utilize that on the next interview that I get to do with Steve Reinharz. As you all know, he's been so welcomed on our channel, and he has always been, making time to hop on and, just have a conversation with me, which is great because then I am able to connect you guys directly to him and, have him answer the questions that you guys might have for him as well. So we appreciate it much. And before we get started, definitely smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to share this video. You share this video and you love AITX, you're an investor of AITX, you're helping us, spread the word, spread the message. This is a gem in my opinion on the OTC markets. And you guys have known that I've been in this company since 2 cents a share, and I've been holding with all the ups and downs just because I believe in this company in the long term. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with the interview. So let's go ahead. Well, Steve, thank you so much for joining us here on the channel again. I know we have a lot of things to talk about. You're not aware of the questions that I'm going to ask you. I actually went through and collected a couple topics, questions that were on the channel, as well as different platforms like Reddit and StockTwits as well. So the questions will be around those just because the shareholders want to know those things. And of course, in the end, you can add whatever you'd like, or throughout the video, whatever you wish to add on. But I figured we could start on a very positive note, the K and the information about the debt and the revenues. If we want to start with that, that would be phenomenal.
Sure. I think everything is positive. By the way, I'm uncertain as to what you could ask that I would consider negative, because really all indicators that I'm aware of, that I track, that I work on, everything is trending in exactly the direction we want. So, but hey, like you said, you've collected questions. I'm here to answer them. I'm super transparent. I want to answer every question. So I'm ready for you. The K is like old news in my mind already. It's like a week and a half. I'm onto the Q, right? What's the big news out of the K? The big news is that everything I talked about, everything that we press released about the debt came out better in the K than I had led to believe in the press release. I was conservative in the press release for just that purpose, because I'm habitually conservative. I want to say maybe we said we did 85% or 80% of the debt. I forget what it was, but now, there's maybe, don't quote me, but $600,000 in derivative liabilities left, from, 9 million or something. So really, 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 really happy about that. Revenues are up, but I'm not that excited about the revenues in the K last year, and I didn't lead anybody to believe that to be the case. What I'm saying is wait for the Q1 revs coming out, maybe by the end of June, hopefully, but we'll see. Those are revs that I think everybody can stand behind. That's a gain in sales over the entire K that I think everybody can stand behind. So that's what I'm at. The K showed a lot of cleanup, which I had also been talking about and telegraphing, a lot of cleanup of a lot of stuff, cleaning things up so we can get to the QB as a, low debt, no bad debt, no defaults, just a really good, strong, clean company, growing revs, inching the way up or taking steps up to one of the lower rungs on NASDAQ. So I think that's kind of the summary on the K from my perspective, but I'm open to anything specific that you might have.
Well, I did make a video covering the K. I thought, like, for any AITX holder that's looking at the company in the long term should definitely go and check the K out. I know there are links available everywhere. I'll actually put a link to it on the video here as well, just so you can check it out. I know, like, when you open up the K, to everybody out there that's listening, it seems very complicated and long, but pretty much all the information that you need is right on the first page. And when you get to the numbers side, it's actually really easy to read. And obviously, if you're in the market for long-term gains, you should definitely be familiar with reading the Ks as well. So I encourage everybody to check that out. The link will be in the description section.
On the K, you're right. Everybody should read the K. You should be reading these filings. You should keep in mind that as soon as the K or the Qs are public, it's old news. You got to stay up to date with what's happening as well, but it's good to understand what happened before because it shows you the character of the company, which is really what you're investing in. And you're right. This particular K was interesting because we got to talk more about some of the future, which is generally not the case. This is one of the things we rushed through the last week when the attorneys came back and said, hey, your business description doesn't exactly meet the updated requirements from the SEC. I'm like, okay, so my writer and my SEC attorneys, everybody, we're all writing it together and everyone's looking at it. So there is some cool nuggets of what's coming this year in that description. So I would certainly say those first 12, 13 pages, easy to read, lots of info, brings you up to speed. Okay.
Absolutely. What do you want to do? Do you want to talk about Rad 3?
Yeah, we could talk Rad 3.0. I would really like to talk about Rad 3.0, not just because it's becoming a focus for me, but because I think it's material, and I think that our shareholders should have more information than I dripped out in the press release and in the K this morning, or in the K last week.
Yeah. So one of the questions that came up, this user actually brought this question up 3 times. On my channel, so I felt like I had to copy paste a question just so I make sure I ask it. So it says the most important question anyone can be asking Steve right now is about Rad 3.0. We need more details. Is the product not living up to expectations after proof of concept orders? Are future orders stopped till a fix is made? Did they lose any potential clients or sales?
It's amazing. It's amazing. I'll give you the parallel to the question that you just asked me. That's like asking General Motors, listen, why is there a 2022 lineup of cars? Is something wrong with 2021? Like, what's going on? That's exactly the question that we were asked, that the user just asked. There's nothing wrong with Rad 2.0. There will be a Rad 3.0, a 4.0, a 5.0, and so forth, just like there's a model 2022, 2023, and 2024. So it's an interesting perspective of where that company is coming from. 3.0 is particularly notable for a few different reasons. We're building this company in this very public setting. It almost feels to me like I live in a reality show. What was that? The Truman Show? What was that? Was that the show with Jim Carrey or something, where he was in a bubble or something? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, I'm not familiar with it.
All right, I'm aging.
I failed you.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's strange kind of building a company. I've mentioned it before, like in the public eye, but when I do, I create different initiatives that people can get their heads around, so we can categorize and focus as needed. And Rad 1.0 was the robot that didn't work. Rad 2.0 is where we're at right now. Vibrant line of stationary products, repeat orders, growing sales, happy customers, most of the security market locked up on the guarding side, so on and so forth. Like, all good news. Growing revenues that you'll see in the queue. My job is, what's next? How do I get better? How do I create the 2025 Cadillac Escalade? And that's where Rad 3.0 comes in. And it's really comprised of 3 major initiatives. And, some of them are nitty-gritty business stuff, but since we're kind of living in the public eye here, might as well. Maybe we'll learn a little something along the way. The first is the way that the design of the Rad products came together was primarily functionally driven. And, I think that versus Scott 1.0, Scott 2.0 is miles ahead, right? And I love the design. And then, Wally has evolved, 5 different times, subtle changes on how Wally's been designed. And, Rosa just evolved into Rosa 180, which is right over here, and it spawned Rosa 270. Romeo, of course, has had some slight tweaks, but it looks amazing. But there's more. I want to have world-class, attractive design. I want to create the model for how these devices should look. And I'll give you the parallel. Okay, when Graham Bell invented the telephone, he didn't have anything to build on. He had the telegraph, which was the closest thing to the phone, right? So he kind of modeled it a little bit. He added the microphone speaker, more or less the telegraph cabling. We're doing the same thing. Nobody knows what a ROSA does or looks like. It hasn't existed before. So I have an opportunity right now for this class of products to create some kind of world-class design that, every product that follows in our footstep and tries to copy us in the years to come, is judged against. I want to be that standard to judge against. And that's why we hired Artur. And I'm so excited. He's coming. He's lands tomorrow morning. We're going to spend the whole day together here in Orange County at our California office. Mm-hmm. And over the next 6 to 12 months, we're going to redesign and improve and bring a common design language. And, very clearly, be stunning, be distinctive, be futuristic, and use the visual elements to communicate what we do. That's what his task was. That's what we talked about in the pre-employment process. I want the devices to say something before they ever say anything. And so, last night I tweeted picture of a Leonardo da Vinci book, that I read from time to time, depending on what's going on, because he was really that first guy, not necessarily the first guy, but the most popular guy who was an artist and an inventor and style and form and function. So that's what's kind of been rolling through my head for the last 6 months. Anyway, that's the first element of 3.0. The second and third elements are more kind of gritty business stuff. One is the implementation of an ERP, so we could scale up in a big way, right? Production manufacturing platform, more or less, call it that. And the last one is just continuing to invest in technology, creating our own boards, creating our own tech, doing more stuff that also will bleed into Rad-G as well. But those are more or less the big elements of 3.0.
Okay. Now, if we can talk a little bit more about Arthur, I know, we had the news that, came out today. Now, one of the questions that I saw on a different platform, not from the channel, was that, they were saying, how is he going to make an impact? I know you just said that, he's going to be in charge of making sure the robots, the products say something before they actually, say something, which if you, listen carefully to what you're saying, he is tasked with a great mission, right?
I mean, our overhead is growing. It's going to continue to grow. I mean, we're going to build a company. We need guys, girls, and we need programmers, we need builders, we need everything. And we need designers. So it's strange sometimes how people will drill into, they're drilling into one hire. I did 50 others in, the past year or whatever, right? So it's just weird. So I can't really address it. It's like, they're not qualified to ask the question, who can't get a qualified answer. So the other question is the effectiveness of Arthur. It's going to be amazing, right? Listen, we've got mechanical engineers, mechatronics engineers. Those are the closest guys that I give design tasks to. With Romeo, just for example, Romeo, I burned through 4 contract industrial designers before I settled on the design that we had. And that indicates I'm extremely picky with who comes on board, and I'm proud of that and make no apologies for that. This guy comes with such credential. He's really an artist. He's amazing. Like, to me, his work is mind-blowing. The way that he communicates, he's just on another level. And I think that harnessing that talent and bringing it to design this new line of equipment, which he is just mesmerized with. He's so excited to come on board. He's so excited for this opportunity. He's like, Steve, we're going to win awards. He's like, I will deliver to you exactly what you're looking for. And he's like, what does that look like? I said, I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. Nobody knows what it looks like. I said, you and I are going to create it. I said, you're going to go through, months of sketches. We're going to refine, we're going to pick, and we're going to choose, and we're going to make some stuff work. But at the end of the day, I've learned that sometimes being good looking is better than being good. It's just the truth. So we're going to be good, and we're going to be good looking. And I owe that to our shareholders. I owe that to our customers. I owe that to the whole ecosystem that we've designed. I'm really excited about it. Listen, don't get me wrong. I love Rosa. I do. I love all of our products. I think they have a particular style to them. I designed them with a particular style, but I'm not a designer. I know it can be better. And so what do I have to do? What's my responsibility? To find someone better to bring it in and make it better.
Right. Now, if I can follow up on that, the first time you and I had a chat, what was it, 2 months ago almost? And, that was one of the questions that came up. Are there any plans on changing how, Romeo looks or any of the other robots looks? 2 months ago, you had said that there wasn't anything in plan. What really changed within these past 2 months that, we hired somebody that has been, getting awards on board, who worked at like many great companies, tons of experience? What made you go that route?
It's a good question, right? Because, it's funny how information dates itself. So I'll give you an example. At a couple points in the past, I said I don't care about the share price, right? Because I couldn't care about the share price. Anyway, I got beat up on that. So I went ahead and I filed an 8K about the 30 cents and the 50 cents and benefits to me. And all of a sudden, I can now care about the share price, right? But the comments don't age well. So sometimes people still bring up those old comments that are old, right? Anyway, they've been replaced, they've been superseded. Same thing. At the time that you asked the question, I was super happy with where we're at. My head was over here. We had a lot of stuff going on, and design wasn't on my radar. Then what happened is our quantities started going up. And I think right around that time, I put in the 200 or 225 shell order, or I did that shortly after. Anyway, so I'm diving into that. So this is the thought process since you asked. So I'm diving into that, and I'm like, okay, we're CNCing most of our stuff right now, or all of our stuff right now. And I said, we have to move either to sand casting or injection molding or a couple different manufacturing techniques so we could get the volume up. Because I love putting in an order for 200, 250 units, right? It's fantastic. It's much better than 5s and 10s at a time. This is exponential growth. This is what everybody wants. But as we get bigger, we change. So, I don't want to do CNC machining anymore. I want to cut my shell price, by 80%, right? So as I started looking at that project, moving to different manufacturing techniques, that's what triggered, hey, this is an opportunity to also rebuild the insides so we could build faster and better and have easier field replaceable parts, right? To do all that side of the design. And then I said to myself, listen, you know what? Why don't I just take this opportunity to see if I could bring somebody on and make our devices stunningly beautiful? And that was the thought process of how we got here.
That's awesome. Are you getting any feedback from the customers about the design or how the robots work?
Well, I mean, we get feedback on the design, on how they work all the time. Units work great. Everybody's very happy. So, maybe a couple of exceptions here and there, of course, but units work great. So no problems on the functionality. And this is where it's interesting. This is what I learned. On the form side, since there's nothing to compare it to, nobody can really say, hey, it's ugly or it's beautiful or it's terrible. Like, there's nothing to compare it to, right? It just is what it is. That's why I want to take the opportunity right now to put the rad stamp on this industry by creating the most beautiful devices that will evolve in time. And that's where we're at. And by the way, maybe corners get smoothed on this, and I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it's not a huge change because maybe we are really close. I don't know, but I want to go through the exploratory process.
Awesome. Now, one of the things that jumped out of the K, and obviously the conversations that you've been having, is the revenue growth. You are projecting 5 to 20 times in growth when it comes to revenue, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, very specifically, I'm saying that our monthly run rate will be 5 to 20 times larger at the end of this year versus last year. Yes.
Okay. which is huge growth, right? When we look at this year, we are already a couple months in for the new fiscal year. How's that going? Projections on track?
Yeah, projections are on track. You'll see it in the queue. You'll see it in the queue. So you'll see it in the queue. You'll be real happy. I think you'll be real happy. This is a big year. Last year was a big year. This is a big year. You know, because of the December press release, we had all these new eyes on us and followers on us, and people made hundreds of millions of dollars. You know, we were trading 20, 30, $40 million a day. People buying low, selling high, you know, all kinds of stuff going on. I got probably over 100 messages of people sharing their stories of wealth creation, how that changed their lives, which is of course fantastic. And we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna do it again. But I promised an exciting year this year. You know, we talked a little bit about an airport. We got a 17 unit rollout. We just, you know, we're only in the beginning of the second quarter. So, and of course, sales are ramping up. So I feel I'm delivering on setting some great expectations, and it feels great. It's super fun.
That's awesome. If I can roll through a couple other questions from,
I'll try to be more brief in my answers, you know, Ozzy, but I love chatting with you. I think you've got a great base that I always say hello to. So hit me. What do you got?
So I have, again, if I can read it word by word, it says, Ozzy, I've had some conversations with Steve. I wasn't concerned with the product or company. They added salespeople, which is great. Are they keeping up with, is the production keeping up with the sales? Obviously, we get a lot of PRs about, you know, orders coming in, we're selling product. Are we keeping up with the production, or are we having any challenges with that?
I mean, it's a good question. Production is not where I want it to be. That's why we're opening the Rex. We're shutting down California production this week and moving everything over to the Rex, you know, next week. And we'll be popping out units faster and better than ever before by the end of the month. So, you know, what happened was we had one sales guy, one full-time sales guy, some part-time work from me and some part-time work from Mark. And sales start rolling in, you know, dealers start putting in orders, you know. The seeds that we placed a year ago, a year and a half ago, they start coming in. And as this customer hears that this customer did that and that customer, things start rolling. We start having this momentum. We start creating these little tipping points that I talk about. And I'm like, this is great. I'm going to roll the dice. I'm going to spend the money. We're going to get the Rex. Now I got the Rex. And I'm thinking, okay, I got this big factory. I need more sales guys. So I hire more sales guys. And I love our team, really, really happy with every single one of them, which is great. We're going to double our sales team again, September or October, which is going to be great. We're going hard, you know, and investors should know. Investors should know. We're reinvesting everything. We're going hard. We're working to build and expand and grow. And that's it. You know, sometimes I get questions of, hey, when are you going to be profitable? Not for a while. Neither was Amazon. Are you going to do share buyback? No plans, not even a thought process. When are you going to uplist to NASDAQ? Maybe soon, you know, maybe 2-3 years, I don't know. But 2 to 5 years, I expect us to be on NASDAQ. It's my expectation. When are you going to go to the QB? Definitely next fiscal year, perhaps sooner. I've got to follow up with them over the next few weeks and see if a couple of my questions can be answered now that the K is out. So that's basically it. But, you know, we have a lot of investors that are just learning, as you know, because they ask you questions and you're a large part of educating them. And that's why I want to be really clear. This is not a company that's going to turn profit tomorrow. And I have no intention to, and that's part of the plan. The plan is to build and grow. The plan is to be a massive multi-billion-dollar mega corporation, you know, in 2 to 5 years. This quarter's revenues are going to show that we can do it. This K's revenues are going to show that we can do it. And I'm happy for everybody who's trading the stock and investing along the way.
Yeah, that's amazing. We definitely look forward to the numbers that are going to come out. I know you said you guys are going to be aiming for the end of June, but I know it might go into July. But definitely on the lookout, especially for us, you know, folks who are holding long term.
Thank you.
I got one more question for you. So I actually, this is a subscriber that has been, watching my videos for a while. Why do they have so many NDAs? Why wouldn't a Fortune 500 company want to reveal the purchases? And also they're asking about a real-time footage of, the products in action or the robots in action. So this person has over 90,000 shares. But of course, this person does have those bearish concerns or concerns. I don't want to say bearish concerns, the concerns. So obviously, a shareholder, he's been following me for a while. What can we say to him to, ease his mind a little bit?
I mean, first off is you've heard me describe it. We've talked about it before on the channel, right? We've got NDAs with our dealers and NDAs with our customers, and we won't violate them unless we have permission. Customers don't like talking about their security. Fortune 500 companies don't like telling the market that they have security problems. Those optics are way more important than supporting some early stage tech startup by allowing them use of the logo. People got to understand, we're a pimple on a pimple when we're talking with some of the customers that we're talking to. We're just happy to be in the game. And, the investors really want to know because they want to use it to spike the market. They want it. And that again is something that I'm not interested in. We're going to continue to grow the way we're growing. Hey, if you like it, welcome aboard. If you don't, God bless you. Do whatever it is you're going to do. But that's non-negotiable. So that'll continue to be as it is. Videos of the video working. I mean, listen, we have a lot of videos, and we produce more. We actually have guys on full-time staff who build different types of videos for us. These videos are for the industry. They're not for the market. They're for people who buy our stuff or people to whom we're selling stuff. So I release a little bit of stuff here and there to the market, as I call it, which is, the pubco market, the guys who buy and sell the shares. But I like the amount of information that we have out there. And will it continue to increase? Of course it will, and it does. And will I do some full-length example videos? I absolutely will. I've hinted a couple months ago that I would have a new software product come out. And that product, I think, is going to be a big deal. And that will have some really cool videos attached to it. And that one I'm going to release into the public because we have a very active AITX community. And they send me leads and da-da-da-da-da. And this is going to be something that I want them to take to their organizations and to say, hey, we need this now. So other than that, I'm not necessarily sure the value of absolutely exposing every single element and reaction stuff. Number one, it changes fast. Number two, how much tips am I going to give to my potential competitors? So again, there's enough information for investors to know what the company does and how it operates. It's not like I'm withholding anything.
Absolutely. Before I wrap up, do you have anything that you want to talk about aside from what we just covered?
Not really. I mean, great questions. I know that sometimes people ask questions, they don't always get satisfactory answers. That's fine. That's just how it is. But it's good to see you. It's good to get re-engaged. There's one question that I'll answer that you didn't ask that someone else on a different forum asked me, and he's like, Steve, why do you do these YouTube interviews? You're degrading your value. You look like a dumb CEO when you do these things, right? And so I'll give you the answer, right? The answer is I'm not particularly prejudicial as to who has value and who doesn't. Certainly bigger investors have more value than smaller investors, but who knows who watches your videos? Number two, we've got a relationship, you and I, and it's not a one and done thing. So we set up a relationship, you're following us, you're reading our stuff, you're promoting it. I'm going to be available to you to answer the questions from your shareholders and to, show that we're continuing and we're growing, we're building. And the third thing is, I guess this is third and fourth thing. Number one, I like it. It's fun. It's fun to share what I do. It's so fun. I love it. And number two, I kind of look at it a little bit like it's like in training, for when we hit the QB, what's going to happen then when we hit the NASDAQ, right? Like I just can't go in cold. So answering these questions are practice, and there's no downside if somebody's going to look at the facts, oh, Steve did an interview with Ozzy, I'm not going to invest in AITX because he talked to Ozzy. Great, don't. I'm fine with that, right? So those are the reasons.
Well, if I can comment on that, well, first and foremost, I appreciate you coming on the channel. I know, like today, you have a busy day. You're CEO of a company, and you made it work. And you're here sitting with me as soon as you got home from work. I truly appreciate that. And you know who else appreciates that? Everybody that's watching this video and looking to get updated information on AITX. And I know there are a lot of companies out there that do promotional activities, and they try to get on YouTube or different platforms, and they have a certain budget set aside for that. But I know, AITX doesn't do that. I certainly do not get paid from you to do these interviews. And that speaks to, the loyal followers that AITX actually has and the loyal shareholders. And obviously they're actively going out and trying to get as more information as they can, as updated information as they can. And I'm not the only channel. I know there's a lot of other channels that cover AITX. So I think that speaks to, how much you value your shareholders, because you're coming on these different platforms and connect them with the retail investors like myself and my community. So I truly appreciate that. And I know that the folks over on my community appreciate that as well. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Ozzy. Maybe we'll have you down to the Rex in September or something like that. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to have a couple of my favorites come down and meet in person and do a tour. So I was thinking July, I was thinking August. It keeps on slipping. We're just busy, but I'm going to put a stake in the ground and say there's got to be a date when you can free up and come down and visit us.
Awesome. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Steve. And like I said, this will be it for the interview this time. I really appreciate you coming on the channel, and we'll talk next time.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.